So now I'm going to show you how the mixer works. Okay, so to bring up the mixer, again, you just need to press this or F9. So the first thing you'll usually want to do is, link your different channels to the mixer. So right now I have my drums, and what I will do is, it's really quick if you've done it, if you've kind of composed your song before mixing. You can just select all of the channels from one thing and come down to the mixer, right click wherever you want to start it, and link selected channels starting from this track. And that will give each of these its own independent track. Now, if you want them all linked to the same track, like maybe you have a couple of claps that you have as a layer and you want them to be the same track, then you just highlight both of them and select link to this track. But since these are all my different drum sounds, I want to link selected channels starting from this track. And you can see it has the 808 maker, kick, clap, snare, rim, and so on. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the synths. And the same thing for the audio clips. Because when you add an audio clip to FL Studio, it automatically makes a new group called audio clips and has those contained within that group. Okay, so now you can see that I have the different sounds in here. And if I play the song, you'll see that the snare roll, the melody, and the bells, the organ and the bells will be playing. So you can see them playing in the mixer. Now again, I'm not going to go into a whole lot of depth about the mixer, but if you go to the website page about FL Studio and you watch Seamless R, those tutorials, watch the mixer one on that page. And I'll have the link in the description to all this stuff, so you can check that out afterwards. But I will cover the very basics, which are, if you want to change the volume of a certain sound. So let's say I want my snare a bit louder. I can adjust the fader here. This is the volume fader. And then if I want to change the panning, I can do that right here. Either scroll it or click and click it. Or click and move it, sorry. And then, similar to playlist, I didn't cover this in the playlist yet, but you can solo just by right-clicking or mute by left-clicking on the screen dot, the same way as you can in the channels, the step sequencer. And you can do that in the mixer too. So I can solo the snare. Or mute the bells and so on. Now, one technique you should know that is a little bit more advanced, but it is important to know, is that you can link one mixer track through another mixer track. And you can link multiple mixer tracks through the same mixer track to create what's called a bus. So I'm going to make a drum bus, and I'm going to color it, a blue again. And what you can do is, on each of these, right here, this arrow says that it's going through this track. And then this knob says how much it is going through that track. And if I wanted to only go through this track and not through the master track, I can right click here and do route to this track only. And so I'm going to do that for all of my drums. just to show you, how the drum bus works. And busing is nice because it allows you to add effects over multiple things, multiple sounds, and you can also mute them. So I've muted the drums, and you can hear that you don't hear the snare. If I go to play pattern 1, which is my drums pattern, you won't hear any of the drums because they're all going through this track, which is now muted. And then similar to buses, but a little bit different, is your synths. And you don't have to use these, but all of the different tracks are automatically routed through the synths, except for that the volume, that the amount that's going through it, is completely to nothing. And the synths can be useful for things that you want, like, maybe you want to add a reverb to a lot of different tracks. So what you would do is you would put a reverb on synth 1, and you'd route maybe your bells, your organ, your saw, and your clap through that reverb by just turning up this knob for each of the tracks that you want going through it. Okay, so I've been talking about reverb and stuff like that. So how do you add different effects to your mixer? And the way you do that is you come over here. You'll see each track has 8 effect slots. And what you can do is click here on this little arrow, and it'll automatically bring up a menu. But if that menu doesn't come up, all you have to do is go to select. And then you can select from any number of effects. I have a tutorial page dedicated to all the different plugins in FL Studio. So I'll have that link in the description as well. I just started it, so there are hardly any right now. But if this is quite a bit in the future that you're watching this, then I'll have quite a bit more up. But yeah, definitely check that out to learn more about the plugins. Because for now, I'm only going to be using a couple different plugins. I'm going to make another bus for the different synths. I'm going to call it synths. So I'll link the saw only to that, as well as the organ and the bells. Because for the build-up, right before the drop, I want to mute all of that. And so I'm going to be adding the Fruity Mute 2 plugin, which is a really simple plugin. And yeah. Now, a lot of the time with plugins, and even with other things in your songs, you're going to want to have them change over time. So you'll hear, if I play the song with this off, you don't hear the organ. And with it on, you do hear the organ. And to automate it, there are a few different ways you can do it. You can record it live by hitting the record thing, doing automation and score, and then you can play the song and record it as you go along. But just keep in mind that it will record that information to whichever pattern you have open. So if you do that, I would definitely recommend, finding the next empty pattern to do that in. But the way I prefer to do it is just, right-clicking it and creating an automation clip. But I only want to use this for a very short amount of time. So I'm going to be selecting some of the song, which I did that by double-clicking and then holding. And then I'm going to open that back up. And right-click to create automation clip. And that will allow me to change the value as as the song progresses. Oops, I need to turn that off. I want it to mute right here. So I'm going to do like that. And if you right click on the different points, there are a few options. So if maybe I didn't want it all the way up to all the way down, I wanted it part way. It doesn't matter with this effect, but with other effects it will matter. So I can right click to copy value, and then I can paste it. And then I can also copy from these points and paste. I can also delete the points, but I can paste it to the others. So again, it's pretty, you could probably figure this stuff out just by playing with it. These are the different shapes of the curves. And then you have the delete option. But what I want is, I want it to hold. And that just keeps it solid until the next point hits. And then I want this one to hold as well. So now you should hear that as this plays, both the organ and the bell, because I'm muting the synths bus, they will both mute during this part of the song. And I'm going to change the snare so that it stops right there too. And during this section you could put in a vocal, you could put in whatever you want. But I'm just going to put in this sound. And again, you can use the slice tool to cut not only pattern clips, but you can cut audio clips as well. So let's see how that sounds. Okay, so that sounds pretty good. And then now it's going to be the drop. So I'm going to copy this stuff over. But I do want one more effect before I do that. I'm going to have it again on the synths bus. It's a bit crusher. This is not something that comes with FL Studio. It's a free plugin. And if you don't know how to install your own VST plugins, I do have a video about that, which I will link to in the description of this video. And as far as finding your own VST plugins, you can search for them. If you want this bit crusher, I'll have the link in this description. But if you're a beginner, I'd really recommend you hold off on downloading a lot of stuff and just learn what comes with FL Studio at first. And then once you kind of know more about what you need for your music, you can start downloading more things. Okay, so I've added the bit crusher to the second track here. And I think you can also change between the order of your effect plugins the same way you can change between the tracks. And that's just hovering over it, shift, and scrolling with your mouse. Okay. Now with VST plugins, you can't right-click a knob to automate it. That only works with the plugins that come with FL Studio. So there are a few different ways you can automate it in FL Studio though. And my favorite way, and possibly the most simple way, is just adjust the parameter you want to automate. And then, again, I'm just going to select a short area. And you can go up to Tools after you've adjusted the parameter you want to automate. And last tweaked, Create Automation Clip. And I'm going to draw in a curve like that. And if you grab in the middle of an automation clips in between 2 points, you can adjust the tension of the curve. I want it to be pretty tense. Probably even move it over a little bit. Okay, I want that to change quite a bit more drastically. So I'm going to move it more towards the end here and just have it be sharper like that. And really what I should be doing is bringing these down to separate channels, but I'm not super organized. And then I can name this automation, and I can group with above track, group with above track. Okay. And again, I've been zooming and stuff like this. All it is holding control and then scrolling your mouse. So it's a lot like many other programs out there. And that's the same as in the piano roll. Okay, and if you want to watch this happening, you can see the last effect I tweaked was, or the last parameter I tweaked was this. And now you can see that since I did tools, last tweaked, create automation clip, it created an automation clip for this parameter, which I will show you now. Now I'm just going to bring in the drum beat, which is right there. And I'm going to cut the pattern from the kick and put it into the 808 maker. And then I'm going to send it to the piano roll. And this just, it gives me, this way I can pitch it in the 808 maker and all that. So let's just the 808 maker is pretty loud, so I'm going to turn it down a little bit. And again, you can either click and drag the volume faders, or you can scroll using the using your mouse. All right, so let's see how the drop sounds. It sounds awful. That's because I need to automate it right back up. Otherwise, the bit crusher effect is affecting everything after the drop. Okay, now you can hear right here that the bass gets out of tune with the rest of the track. So what you can do is, you can do this for audio clips and automation clips and other clips, but this is a pattern clip, and you can click right here in the corner, the top left corner, and it gives you a few different options. But what I'm going to do is make unique. And what that does is it clones this pattern into a new pattern. So you can see now that I have drum beat number 2 in pattern 2 and drum beat 1 in pattern 1. And you can do this in other ways, but it's just really quick to do it in the playlist. So I could click here to clone it, and now I have drum beat 3, which I can then paste down there. But FL Studio has a lot of different ways to do a lot of different things, and you just need to figure out what works best for you. And so I'm actually going to get rid of that by right-clicking, and yeah. And now I'm just going to pitch this up so it's in tune with the rest of this rest of the song at this point. Thanks for watching my tutorial video. I hope you found it to be helpful. If you want to learn more, be sure to subscribe to my channel so you can watch new videos as soon as I upload them. After that, check out the Beat School website. I'll have the link in the description. All my tutorials are organized on the site so that you can easily find what you need by browsing through the different categories. There are also a ton of awesome resources to help you in every aspect of music production. And if you want to help support me, you can buy any of my sample packs, preset packs, or project files for only $5 or less. This gets you some great sounds for a great price and allows me to spend more time making these tutorials and working on the website. Thanks again for watching my video, and have a great day.